Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well and having a wonderful day. And in today's video, I'm taking part in the SRK Championship junior class at round 3 at Herefordshire Raceway in Wales. So we're jumping into heat 2. Unfortunately, I forgot to start recording in heat 1, which isn't great because there's no footage. But yeah, this was probably my best round so far. In heat 1, I managed to start 3rd and I ended 7th. Thankfully, a driver ahead of me got a penalty, so I finished P6, which is great. So we just want to start off good, try and make a really high final, and yeah, let's see how we can do. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, really appreciate it. We're closing in at 200 subs, not a lot, but small steps, and hopefully we'll reach our goal by 1k at the end of this year, which would be amazing. So without further ado, let's jump into heat number 2. So it goes green, we get an alright start, and we're able to overtake this driver on my outside with the Lewis Hamilton helmet. We give this driver ahead of me a little bump draft, and he's able to slingshot his way past the driver ahead of me, and I'm able to slingshot him past him too. This driver ahead of me with the white helmet gets forced into the barriers, and unfortunately I hit the back of his car, which isn't great, and I get loaded from behind, but I'm all good. We've made 2 positions so far, and we're already up to 8th place, which is great, starting from 10th. So we want to try make sure our position we finish in is higher than the one we started in, so able to maximize the points. There's a driver on my outside already, I just had to go defensive, and unfortunately the 2 drivers ahead of me, they make contact, and unfortunately one of them gets taken out of the race, which is quite a shame. But we're able to gain 2 positions, which is great. It goes to yellow flags, and I put my hand up, and I was a bit confused why this driver behind me was battling me, but then it went straight back to green. So let's keep on going. I think there was a warning sign given out to the driver behind me for giving the space back or penalty, I'm not too sure. But we've actually had a really good start, and we're actually up to 7th place if I'm correct. And this was my first time at the track, and I actually really enjoyed this track. I saw a lot of videos before, and it looked pretty fun. My favourite part was probably going down here in this corner section, followed by a little lock up on the apex, and then this bridge section. The first time I went on it, it was quite scary, but I got used to it throughout the day, and I actually quite enjoyed that corner. But the only issue was you couldn't go too far wide out, or you'd end up in the pit lane if you weren't careful. But we're just trying to keep the wheel nice and smooth, try not to make any mistakes. We go a bit wide here, which isn't great, and unfortunately we lose position. We try hug it to the inside, force this driver to go around us, but he's probably lighter than me, and he's probably faster than me there before, so they're able to gain 2 positions on me, which isn't great. My cornering wasn't the greatest today, but hey ho, we just get on with it. We'll see if we can close these drivers down. Probably I struggled a lot on turn 1 and turn 2 the day. I think I struggled the most because you had to go out and then back in, and you had to juggle with the pedals. I personally did that. I didn't really know if you were supposed to or just lift off. As you can see, the driver with the white helmet manages to overtake the driver with the Lewis Hamilton helmet. And they're already gapping me, and at this point I realized I'm already losing enough time. I don't really want to lose any more, so if any drivers are behind me, I'll just let them pass, and hopefully they can catch up and maybe force one of them into a mistake and I can compromise on it. To be honest, my goal was just to stay clean and consistent, since there was a few issues in the previous heats where drivers were getting quite aggressive with their carts and bumping and loading. I got loaded a lot in heat 1. Unfortunately, the driver behind me got a penalty for it. But yeah, also my friend Luke was here today. He drove insane. He managed to win the junior category in the amateur class, which is insane. Well done to him. But yeah, I really enjoyed this track, to be honest. It was quite windy, it was quite long and spacious. It was really good. I think there was a driver behind me, and I wasn't really intending to let him pass, so I tried my best to just keep it consistent. This corner here was quite important, just coming over the bridge, since if you messed up, the driver behind you could get a really good run. And as you can see, I just point my head forward and down, sort of like a human DRS. But yeah, the two drivers ahead of me have just gapped me, and it's not great. So we get dive bombed down the inside, managed to keep it. We hug the inside and keep our place, but he goes for the switchback. It was a wonderful move by him. Try to squeeze him to the side, but still give him enough space. But yeah, the center helmet's able to overtake me. That was a really nice move by him. We were hoping we could just stick with him for a few more laps. And thankfully we do try to stick to his draft here. And we almost get a better exit, but he's still within our range, so we just trod behind him and try not to lose any more positions. And I think right now we're in 9th place, which is one place better than where we started, which is great, I guess. I mean, at least we're not below where we started. But yeah, so we're just gonna skip through a few laps now, probably onto the penultimate one. So unfortunately the heat ends and we end up in 9th place, which is pretty bad, but it was my first time there. I'm not gonna get angry at myself. It really helps if you go to the track a day before, or like do the challenger, I'd say, in the morning, since you'll get used to it and you'll be able to do better. But maybe next time we'll try that out and see how it goes. But for now, let's go into heat number 3. So for this heat, we're starting quite far down, I think around 10th place. We immediately go to the inside and just try to follow this driver in front of me with a white helmet. But yeah, this start was unfortunate for me. I tried avoiding all the bumping and loading, and I dropped down quite a lot. Thankfully, I overtake this driver, but as you're about to see in this lap and the next lap, I just lose a bunch of positions just by going wide and being in the wrong place. So unfortunately we lose 2 positions here, which isn't great. This driver has my inside and is able to overtake me, and so is this driver with the BSR suit. Try going down the inside, but I just locked the tyres and it isn't great, and I also lose this position to the driver with the orange helmet. So I think I'm down to second last, which isn't great. We're still just gonna push through and hope we can pass more drivers. The BSR driver goes pretty far wide out. We were hoping they'd still fumble with each other and I could compromise on one of their mistakes. As you can see, this driver with the blue helmet, he goes really far wide out. I was hoping I could go down the inside here and follow the BSR driver, which I do. He's still got the inside line. We're just gonna wait though, since he locked his tyres up and we're able to overtake him. We're gonna try follow this BSR driver since he looks like he's pretty fast around here. He actually pushes these 2 drivers out, which isn't great. Goes to 3 wide here. Somehow we haven't crashed. But yeah, we're just trying to follow his draft right now. These 2 drivers are fumbling ahead of me. I was hoping I could go down the inside here, but my kart just didn't have enough speed. So we're just gonna keep it clean and concise for the next few corners, hoping we can compromise his mistakes. Put our head down, just trying to close the gap. As you can see, I was thinking of going down the inside here, but still I was a bit too far back. But I knew my time would come eventually. I just wanted to see how this driver was driving before going for a move. In the SRK events, you haven't got a lot of time to make your overtakes, so you want to try to do it as quick as possible, and hopefully safely. I got a little punt from behind in the 3rd corner. I wasn't too sure what it was, but I'm still able to keep up with this driver. I was thinking of going down the inside here. The gap was open and I go down the inside, which is great. Go down the inside here too, just to cover it off. Don't want to let him come back. Yeah, we overtook 2 drivers. Our focus now is to catch these drivers with the orange helmet and the green helmet now. Unfortunately though, there just isn't enough time and my pace wasn't there in this race. I think this was probably my slowest heat. I don't know if it was the car, it probably was me, but unfortunately we just stay where we started. It wasn't great, we lost a few positions but managed to gain them back. So now let's go into the final. So for the final, I'll be starting 4th place, hoping I can compromise on the drivers ahead of me. And it goes green, we get alright start. We go to the inside as quick as possible so we don't lose any positions. The drivers ahead of me have a little bit of a fumble. We're just trying to keep it clean, not trying to make any contact, not trying to get any warnings, penalties. We just don't want that. It's the final. We can't afford to lose that. We go a bit wide here, unfortunately. I think we got a bit loaded from behind, but we keep it clean, keep it concise. We just follow these drivers ahead of us. The driver in the white helmet goes wide, and they go to 2 abreast. We're just going to keep it nice and clean, and hopefully we'll come back to them. And as you can see, I'm right on his bumper. It wasn't the best corner from me, because unfortunately there was a driver on my inside, which I just had to cover off. The goal is to get first place in order to move up, since we're in the C final, which isn't great, but it's our first time here and I'm happy with it. We started pretty high up, and unfortunately these 2 drivers, the driver with white helmet just goes down the inside, which was a bit, you know, a bit too ambitious, but I respect it because the gap was there. And unfortunately he goes wide here and he goes to the inside. We were thinking of how we could overtake him. Just going to keep it clean and still use some of the curb and go out wide here. Unfortunately we don't keep the revs up and we lose a bit to him. Unfortunately there was a driver on my inside which had to cover off, which wasn't helpful. Yeah, we lock the tyres here. We keep going, just nice and concise. Yeah, we've already just lost him. I don't know if it was a car, but I think I was like one of the fastest out of all the drivers in my final in terms of fastest laps of the day, and I just sort of just fled away from them. I was hoping the driver in first would start defending, which I could catch up. That was the only way. We nearly make a little mistake here, but thankfully we're able to save it. So let's go to a few more laps and see what happens. So we're coming down the start finish straight. We're actually able to keep up with them, but unfortunately I just go a bit too wide here, and the driver on my inside with the Lewis Hamilton helmet is able to overtake me, which is actually quite unfortunate since we were actually keeping up with these drivers, and we nearly get overtaken again, but we still have the inside line and we're able to keep 5th place, which isn't what we want, but this is what happens when you just have no practice. But we're still going to try to keep up, although we lost the position. Unfortunately we hit the tyre barrier. It isn't great. I lost a bit of concentration. I think I was tunnel visioning on the driver with the black helmet. Same thing happens. We're going down these 2 winding corners. We go a bit too wide out again, and this driver on my inside has a good run and goes to the inside. We were thinking of going for a switch back, but we were too close to his tyres, so it was not happening. We're trying to go for a really good exit, but we just locked the tyres and we smashed, nearly taking ourselves out in the race, which isn't great. This is the last lap, and wasn't a great last lap in my opinion. I'm nearly spinning out, which would have been awful. Thankfully though, we didn't. And yeah, that ends off round 3 at Herefordshire Raceway. Mixed opinions about this. I really enjoyed this track. My pace wasn't great, but I enjoyed myself, and that's the main thing. I enjoyed the experience and I learned a lot from this track. So next track, we're going back to Castle Combe for round 4. Also for round 5 there is no race at Midland Karting. It's been changed, so we have 2 rounds at Silverstone circuit, which is insane. That circuit looks insane, so I'm really excited to go there. But yes, thank you very much for watching, people. Really appreciate the support and the subscribers and the likes, and make sure to follow my Instagram. It's sunnyjbr_. Trying to get that to 1,000 followers, trying to get Race Pace 1 to 1,000 followers, which would be great. But yeah, appreciate it. Drop a like, subscribe, and without further ado, catch you guys next month